welcome to those who are here live in the room, and also to anyone who's watching on replay. You're all very welcome. This workshop is for professional women who are either thinking about retirement, approaching retirement, or actually in retirement. And I think it's useful for all those stages because I think for a lot of us, we're quite good at doing the practical stuff, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, doing all the paperwork or planning. But when it comes to the emotional side, sometimes that gets left out and forgotten about. I mean, it's really important, isn't it? It's our identity will completely change. Our purpose, our daily routine, we have to restructure that. So there's lots of things that can be overlooked and we just assume we'll be okay. And we just avoid thinking about it really. So anyway, that's why I created the workshop because I felt like there wasn't really enough emotional support for people, for women who are coming up to retirement. Let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. I am going to quickly introduce myself, but I'm not going to take up too much time, but in case you don't know me, you may be wondering why I'm in this position to run this workshop. When I turned 50, I had a moment, probably a midlife crisis, I don't know, but I just decided to make some big changes in my life. So I gave up alcohol, I resigned from my teaching job, I moved to Lisbon, COVID came, so I've moved back to the UK, and then I decided I wanted to retrain in my 50s as a life coach. And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. And really, I've been coaching mostly women ever since for 3 years. And I created a journaling membership as well, which has been going for 2 years. And I feel like the last year I've really been working with women who, because retirement could be any age really, so from 45 onwards, but mostly I've attracted women in their 50s who are approaching retirement. And so that's been the last year, that's really been my main focus. And it's been a real pleasure to coach women like this because, they're successful in their careers, they've done really well for themselves financially, and they've found themselves in a position where they just need some support to transition from their career to this next big life chapter. And it is around retirement, but it could be also around other big changes like children leaving home or, retraining like I did. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. And so that's really what I've been doing for the last year, especially is working with women in these situations. And it's been wonderful. Okay, so that's me. So that's why I'm here right now doing this workshop. So what's coming up? We do have a lot to get through, but it's all because I'm an ex-teacher, it's all perfectly timed out. We're going to look at who you are beyond work, look at, yeah, what you are when you're not at work. We're going to look at some fears around retirement, and then we're going to take one of your biggest fears and we're going to reframe it into an empowering belief. And we're also going to meet your future self. And also at the end, there is a little gift for you. So if you're still here at the end, that would be there for you. So that would be lovely. So before we actually look at who you are beyond work, I thought it would be a really nice way to start the workshop by just tapping into what your dream retirement is. And even if you are in retirement now, you can still either embellish what you have already or, imagine a different type of retirement. So if you feel comfortable, I'd love it if you would just put down your pen, close your eyes, and take a deep breath in, and then let it all out. Just drop your shoulders and let your thoughts settle for a moment. We're going to tap into your dream retirement. So let's just allow ourselves to have permission to dream. What would your dream retirement look like? Just notice where you are and what you're doing in your dream retirement. Just notice what you look like, what you're doing. Okay. And when you're ready, let's just come back to the room. We can't stay there all for the whole hour. And pop in the chat box if you like, if you're watching now live, anything that just came up for you there. Was it nice? Where were you? And just notice how that felt for you. Was it hard actually to imagine your dream retirement, or was it quite easy? Was there any resistance there? You can normally feel it in the body. Oh, some really lovely, positive, beautiful dream retirements, full of purpose, challenge, in Devon doing cartwheels. Oh, lots of time for activities. Beautiful, lovely. Thanks for sharing, guys. Yeah. So there is sometimes resistance when we think about this because there's so much pressure on us to be in the perfect situation when we retire. And that's not always realistic. Right, let's move on. Let's get ready for our first activity. Who are you beyond work? So even if you're in retirement right now, you can still do this prompt. This prompt is designed to help you explore who you are outside of work, obviously. But maybe this side of you hasn't been explored for a while because sometimes when we're full on in work and other responsibilities, we don't always take time to focus on who we are, outside of our jobs. We're going to have 3 minutes for this prompt and just let your pen go. Ask yourself the questions. Be open to what comes up. See how it goes. See what happens. And if you're watching on replay, 3 minutes for you too. So I'm going to time us. And if you need to communicate with me, you can do it through the chat. I'll keep an eye on it. So let's go 3 minutes. Okay, guys, so time does go very quickly when you're journaling. If you just finish what you're writing, and of course, you can share anything you would like to share in the chat box. And again, don't worry if you have some resistance at any point during the workshop, because, sometimes maybe this is not a topic that you've focused on a lot. Maybe your brain will be trying to protect you a little bit. So it is quite normal to have some resistance. So we're going to move on to the next one. So this is from my work. These are the top three fears that clients have told me about, or I've discovered through my work that they have about retirement. So I'd like you just to have a look, and do you relate to any of these? The loss of identity. So when you come away from work, that identity, that role disappears, sometimes some old insecurities will resurface that hadn't you hadn't noticed for years. It's surprising sometimes how that change of life can bring up some old beliefs, and insecurities. The loss of day-to-day structure and routine. When you if you give up work, you need to restructure your day and your routine. And also there could be a fear of, what if I get bored and I waste this incredible opportunity, which is a real thing. There's a lot of pressure on people, especially women who retire earlier than their peers. There's a lot of pressure to really make the most of this opportunity. And, it could turn into a bit of, a fear around that. So just pop in the chat box. Are there any other fears that come to mind when you see these, or can you relate to any of these that I've just shown you? Because these are just three, and there are plenty, there are more, I'm sure. Oh, yes, latter, loneliness. Yes, thank you. What I love and value has very little to do with my work. Oh, okay. Yeah. So loneliness is also one of the fears, because yeah, if you work in a big team, that's a big change, isn't it? What I'd like to do now is explore what your fears are. And fear is a strong word, really. It could be concerns or worries, or yeah, you're maybe one of the concerns is that you may not stay motivated. Absolutely. And if friends are still working and you're not, absolutely. Okay, so we'll have 2 minutes on this prompt. Let's explore. Just ask yourself what your fears are, because you may be surprised what comes up. Yeah, let's see. So 2 minutes, let's go. Okay. So if you want to share anything that's come up, and of course, you can always leave space to go back to these prompts, like tomorrow or another time over the weekend if you wanted to expand a bit more. This is really, we don't really have enough time to go really deeply. But if you'd like to share any other fears that have come up, I mean, there are some, like, there are more than maybe we think sometimes when we start exploring, and they could be really small and feel like quite insignificant, but they all count and they all have some impact on us. Um, so let's go on to the next one. So we're sticking with this for a moment, but I want us now to just explore one of your fears. So if you choose one, the one that really jumps out at you, the one that fills you with dread when you look at it, I want us now just to explore that for a little bit. And because it's quite rare that the fear that you think it is the actual fear. Usually there's like a deeper need beneath that. For example, I put an example here. So if it is your work identity that you fear losing, like the deeper fear beneath that is that you need a purpose to your day, to your life, and work gives you that. Or it could be that you like being respected because you have a team, you've done well, you're in a senior position, people respect you, and that's nice. Or even, external praise from clients, or, there's lots of things that could result in the fear that you think is about your work identity. So this is probably the most challenging prompt there is today, but I want us to see if we can take one of your fears and explore it a little bit more deeply. Now, maybe nothing will come up. Maybe this is too much for you, tonight. But give it a go because this is just the beginning. And if you start it now, but nothing comes up, it doesn't matter because you've started this process and you can come back to it and try again. So let's do 2 minutes and see if you just ask yourself the question, what is the deeper need beneath this fear? Let's see. Let's go. Okay, so that's 2 minutes. And like I've said before, you may need more time to really explore this. Um, But I wonder if anything came up for you. Sometimes journaling is surprising. Sometimes it's hard, and sometimes things just come out of nowhere. That's what it feels like. Okay, so let's now turn this fear into something more positive and empowering. So I've got a frame which hopefully will be useful. So let's reframe your fear. So what could a new empowering belief look like? So continuing with this actual fear that we looked at just now, could you change your perspective around it? Now, it's very difficult. You can't just eliminate beliefs out of your mind overnight, but we can begin. We have to start, we have to create new beliefs in order for your brain to take the new belief and leave the old one behind. So I've put an example here. I used to believe success meant external praise and results, but now I'm open to defining success by how I feel, not just what I achieve. So this is reframing from the loss of work identity. So can you reframe your old belief into a new one? I'll give, let's say, another 2 minutes and see what you can do. Okay, that's 2 minutes. So you don't need to share this in the chat unless you really want to, because it's quite long. Um, but maybe you could just put in the chat whether you're able to do that, or if not now, whether you feel that you can go back to it. So is this something you feel like you can use this frame to help reframe? Yeah, it is. Well, I'm not giving you much time for starters, but it is challenging. So maybe if you haven't managed to do it on the workshop right now, yeah, you could go back to it and give it another go. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it could just be the beginnings. And I think reframes are really useful because otherwise I never used to know what to do with these beliefs that were holding me back. And I found that these types of activities really help me. But you don't have to use it. You don't have to. But they are quite useful because we have to train our brain to be more positive. All right, so we're going to move on to something a little bit easier, and we're going to meet your future self. So if you are open to this, I would love it if you could just put your pen down and close your eyes. And again, just take a deep breath in and let it all out. Drop your shoulders because we're going to go a little bit into the future and we're going to meet your future self. So it does involve using your imagination when we do this. And if you find that difficult, you don't always have to imagine everything. You can imagine how you're feeling, your feelings or colors, and see if you can do it like that. But what I'd like you to do right now is just acknowledge where you are in your life and acknowledge what your chapter is right now in life. Acknowledge who you are and also what is your current age. Just acknowledge it because that's important because we're now going to go 7 years into the future. And I want you to use your imagination and we're going to take 7 steps into the future together. And each step will represent 1 year into the future. So let's do it together. So imagine yourself taking these steps. Okay, let's begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're now 7 years into the future, and you can see yourself. Just imagine yourself in 7 years' time. Acknowledge what age you will be, and see if you can observe what you're doing in 7 years' time. Are you living that dream retirement, or is it different? What's this version of you doing in 7 years' time? What's her body language like? What's she wearing? And who's around her? So she's achieved many things over these 7 years. She's overcome challenges, but she's overcome them all. She's a lot wiser and a lot more confident. And I want you now to imagine this version of you looking back at you now. She's got a big smile, big warm smile on her face, and she's got lots of love in her eyes. And she's looking back at you right now. I want you to listen to what she has to say. She has a message for you. So see, just listen. What is her message to you right now? And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, and I'd like you just to write down what that message was in your journal. What did she say, and how did she make you feel? Let's just take a minute to do that. Okay. So if anyone feels like sharing, feel free to share in the chat box. You could just say if that was powerful for you. Was it difficult for you? Was it insightful? Did she have something wise to tell you? I always find these activities really powerful when I imagine myself in the future. It's such a strong message that can come from these activities. Again, this is an activity you can do yourself. You can imagine taking these steps. There's some really nice positive messages in the chat box. Mine said, if you make the changes, the next 7 years are going to be amazing. Amazing. That's a very strong message. This is the last activity. From everything we've just done, is there one small action that you feel is possible, kind, and aligned with who you are? Is there something you can do that you can do quite quickly, like now, tomorrow, next week, that will help you move forwards, that will help you get some momentum going? What could that be? So it's got to be small, it's got to be micro, it's got to be possible. What can you do to help? See what comes up. We'll just take a minute to do this. And feel free to pop anything in the chat box if you would like to. Mm. Make a plan so that I know where I'm headed. Yes. Acceptance. That's been really powerful for me. It's taken me a while, but I feel like I'm finally getting there, the acceptance thing. Sometimes it takes courage to look at the financial side, but it's, if it's worrying you and it's causing you anxiety, then, you know, and yeah, writing a letter from my future self. Absolutely. So that's something you could all do um, in the next day or so. It's write a letter from that future version of yourself. Yes. I think planning is really key, isn't it? And not avoiding things is key. Because once we know where we are, what our reality is, we can then move forward from that. Yes. Well done, all of you. Thank you for sharing. Let's just recap. It feels like it's gone incredibly quickly, but I'm not finished yet. Um, so please stay a little bit longer. So the recap, I'm really interested to know from the things that we've just done, which has had an impact on you. So was it the prompt where we looked at who you were beyond work? Was it about identifying your fears? Was it reframing them? Was it meeting your future self? Or is it committing to one action step? Which one do you think has had an influence on you or an impact? Thank you, Marie. Yes. So we've got the action, future self, reframing, future self. Yeah, I love that one too. Identifying, yeah, and like naming your fears, even if they feel too, even if it makes you feel vulnerable with yourself, actually putting them down on paper and naming them is really powerful. It reduces their power, their strength. We don't need to be, we don't need to live in the shadows of those fears. We can change them. Reframing, yeah, reframing. And like I said, to reframe a belief that we've had for decades is not going to happen overnight, but it is the beginning. And we just need to, recite it or write it down in our journals or just write it out. Eventually, our brain will believe it. That's how it works. Brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody. Right, before you go, because it's not quite time yet, I want to tell you what the gift is. Are you ready? Okay. Ta-da! Oh, here we go. Here's my gift to you. It is a completely free 30-minute clarity reset call, which is like a coaching call. And what we'll do in these 30 minutes is we will go into a bit more detail, a bit more depth on what we've done just now. And we'll do it together. So we'll explore what your dream retirement looks like, and we will identify the roadblocks that are creating resistance, and we will start to map out your new roadmap, whether you're just thinking about retirement or if you're in it or approaching it. These 30 minutes will be completely dedicated to you and how you're feeling about retirement. I'll use all my knowledge and expertise to help you. Yeah, it is amazing. I would love to see your name on my schedule. Um, can you see the link in the chat box? I'm just going to go and grab a bit of water. Why don't you book your call now? Get it done. Have a look. See if I've got dates um up to the day before Good Friday, whatever that date is. So there should be enough choice. And I've tried to put some evenings in. But if have a look, if there is nothing that you can do, let me know. If it doesn't work for you, let me know. And also if you're watching on catch up on the replay, if it's within 2 days of this workshop, you can also book a call. So have a look. Let me know if you can't do any of the options I've given. Let me know in the chat if you've booked a call already. I know there's some action takers. But I would love to help you. This is my passion. This is my purpose. This is my job, and I want to offer this to you because you showed up. You've been with me throughout the whole of this workshop. You've committed to coming, and I appreciate it. Book yourself in. It's available for the next 2 days. We've got a couple of weeks to take the calls. So I would love I would love it if you did. Has anyone clicked on it? Has anyone has success? Because you know what technology is like. I have checked it. Woo! Go, Kate. I will have a look at my schedule and see when it is. Because I think I put some times for tomorrow, so I better check. But these calls are for you, women like yourselves who are in this bubble of thinking about approaching or in retirement. So even if you're a client already of mine, just get a call in and you will feel better for it, I promise. And just before we finish, we've got couple of minutes. I want to ask if you've got any questions, put them in the chat box. I will quickly answer them. But I have a couple of questions that may be useful for you too, because I get asked these all the time. First one is that I'm not a journaler, so can I do this deep work, Yes, you can. I've been journaling for a long time now, and it's my job, and I help people every day almost go from beginner to loving it. So don't be put off by journaling. It's possible for everybody. And also, what if I don't know what my dream retirement looks like? I was asked that as well. And again, don't worry because the combination of coaching and journaling is brilliant. And it's what's helped me get some more clarity around what I want. I think it's so important. I'm really passionate about it. This is our precious life, and we can do the work. We can change beliefs and we can make our future exciting, even if we do have challenges. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing now and then I'm going to stop recording as well.